Legends of vampires have persisted through the generations, with reports of blood-sucking creatures going back even to prehistoric times. But vampire legends thrived during the Middle Ages, when the plague was ravishing medieval Europe. The plague often left lesions on the mouth of its victims. The bleeding of these lesions was sure evidence of vampiric activity to the uneducated populace of the Middle Ages. It was common practice in these times to label any person with an unfamiliar physical or emotional ailment to be a vampire. Research has shown that porphyria, a blood disease which can cause severe blistering of the skin when exposed to sunlight, rabies, tuberculosis, and other diseases were widely linked to vampire legends. In the Middle Ages, when a suspected vampire perished, it was common to dig up the body to check for signs of vampirism. In select cases, the corpse would have a stake thrust into its heart to ensure the dead remained dead. In other cases, the bodies were burned or even decapitated. These practices continued well into the 19th century. The most well-known vampire legend, the one that shapes our views of vampires today, Bram Stoker's Dracula. It is commonly thought that Stoker named his Count Dracula after a real person, Vlad Dracula. Perhaps you would know Vlad Dracula better as Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler ruled in Romania in the mid-1400s. There are historians who describe Vlad as a just ruler, albeit a bit cruel. Vlad was given the nickname of Vlad the Impaler due to his partiality to killing his victims by impaling them on a wooden stake. Countless legends exist of Vlad the Impaler, including reports that he dined among his dead or dying victims, even dipping his bread into their blood. It is unknown if these stories are true, but the legends persist. It is thought that these gory stories of Vlad the Impaler inspired Stoker to create Count Dracula, who hailed from Transylvania, the birthplace of Vlad Dracula. Though modern medicine and science have quelled fears of true vampires, there are people out there who self-identify as vampires. There are communities of these vampires across the internet, even going so far as to have vampire meetings. Some of these self-proclaimed vampires ingest human blood from willing donors in a misguided attempt to stay healthy. But there are vampires of today who stay away from human and even animal blood and call themselves energy vampires. These energy vampires feed off the energy of others, whether they be willing or unwilling. These vampires have stated that if they do not feed off the energy of others regularly, that they can become angry, enraged, or even depressed. While true vampires are merely legend, humans are ever fascinated with the macabre and strange. So these vampire legends are likely to persist for years, decades, or centuries to come.